Hello and welcome to the stream again. I'm just going to check everything's definitely working because I'm using a new streaming platform and it's exciting to be back. It's been a bit of a while, um, but we are back for another Forest YouTube video. I'm looking forward to, well, kind of hearing what you guys are thinking about the game today. Massive game, obviously. Yeah, this should be an exciting one, hopefully. Just double check everything's going through. It is going through. Okay, we're all good. First of all, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your day. It is currently where I am, 10:30 at night. Forest v Crystal Palace is the main game. Of course, I'm doing a watch along. This is something completely different for me. So you're gonna have to excuse me because I'm going to be looking up and down, up and down, up and down, because I've got the TV up here. So looking forward to kind of seeing what you guys are thinking of the game, if you're watching it or if you're just here for the watch along and you've got it on the radio. Obviously let me know what your situation is because I'm interested. So we're hoping for 3 points today, fingers crossed. So hope everyone is having a good day. It's been a bit of a busy week, hasn't it? Let's be completely honest. It's been all the things going off with Nuno at the moment is not really ideal, I suppose, but unfortunately that is the nature of football. So hopefully the situation can be resolved. I mean, I think that with Nuno at the moment going public, like I said in the video, if you haven't watched it already, you've still got another half an hour until the game starts. Feel free to go and have a quick watch of that because I think it was a really good video, and a nice kind of insight into the current situation at the club. I tried to give as best as I could my opinion on the situation, which is obviously detrimental to what Forest are trying to build. And to be honest, I think it would have been definitely better kept private. Nuno definitely would have been better keeping that private. But then how else do you go about someone leaking that the club are trying to sack you? It's a really rubbish situation for everyone to be in. However, from what things I've heard in the last day, the ownership are very keen on fixing the relationship and not looking to other candidates. So let's hope that that is the case. I certainly want it to be the case because I do think that there should be amicable discussions held and there should be reasonable professional ways of dealing with things like this. Because at the end of the day, no fan wants to go into a new season, especially one with so many games as we have, such an intense season, without the manager, the person that's setting the style of play and the person that's kind of bringing the team together. Because Forest have actually been lauded for having such a great dressing room in terms of the atmosphere, in terms of just the general chemistry. So for that to be ruined and thrown into jeopardy would be really concerning. So fingers crossed that today Forest can get something from this game against Crystal Palace, which of course for the wider context has a bit more meaning to it than a normal game, and from there kind of build something good and put what has happened this week behind us, because Forest have already shared how they want to go about their business. Some people find it controversial. Some people don't like how the owner does his thing, and that's their opinion. But at the same time, it would be a really good idea for the club not to give these media and whoever else the license to attack the club any further. So it'd be really good to see if we can some resolution there, and hopefully just an end to kind of all the crap, really, because I think that after the window, or the window that we're having, it's not even over yet, and we know that Forest want to still sign another one or two players, potentially even more. So to think we've had such a good window, and for it to kind of be dragged down by this ongoing situation is a real shame. So fingers crossed we can sort that out and and go somewhere, because I think that of all the teams, Forest deserve it. Now I'm going to do a quick sound check to make sure. If you can hear me, drop something in the chat. Just going to make sure. There we go. Yes, all working. This is a new streaming platform for me, so I just want to make sure that it is definitely working. It's not going to be perfect because, again, I'm looking at ways that are for this channel, trying to innovate with things and find different ways of YouTubing and trying to provide content for you guys while I'm in Australia, which is obviously very far away, and the timings are different. So at the moment it's 25 to 11 p.m. So obviously the times are different, and it gives me the opportunity to be able to kind of broadcast in this way, which is really fun. Obviously I used to commentate on the games anyway, so it's nice to be able to sort of do that, albeit with a bit of a twist. It won't be too Goldbridge like, so don't be thinking you're going to be getting loads of clips out of this. But as for some of you will know, streaming was something that I used to do a couple of years ago. It's kind of where the YouTube stuff really came about. So to have some of you here, hopefully, that have obviously been with the channel before and have watched some of my stuff, it's really nice to have you guys here again. So if you've got any comments or anything you kind of want to say, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, it would be really nice to get everyone involved. So really hoping we can do that. And just talk a bit about the game today, which is obviously a massive one, a huge game. And really, I would love to see Forest win, because I think that's what we should be aiming for. I think is pretty fair to say. So let me know your thoughts. Obviously, let me know your thoughts, because again, it's going to be a big game in terms of the wider context. Like I mentioned earlier, this is one of those games where there is a bit of a grudge match going on. So of course, people don't really want to be. We don't really want to be losing to Crystal Palace, given again that wider context of the CAS situation and so on and so forth. So again, get in your comments, let me know what you're thinking. Keen to kind of get to grips with what your thoughts are, and we can go from there. So Rad Dad, good to see you, my friend. It's been a bit of a while, hasn't it? I used to see you outside the games, and obviously now things have changed a little bit with me being away. But what are your thoughts at the moment? Morning, afternoon, going to be difficult today, but I think a 1-0 Forest win. Come on, you Reds. Prezi, bro, I'm so nervous. Even though I've seen their squad and their bench is paper thin with the 2 GKs, I'm still nervous. Yeah, I think, obviously, a word on Palace, actually, I think it's worth saying, because for the record, I actually had no issue with Palace. And I still don't have any issue with Palace, by the way. Regarding the whole situation, I really do think that the situation that the club is currently in against Forest, or so people have alluded to, the media more so than anyone, even Oliver Glasner isn't really interested in the kind of paper talk around it all. The situation is very frustrating, because I really like Palace. I think they're a really, really good family club, and I do truly believe that based on merit, they should absolutely have been in the Europa League. Of course, the rules and the situation, whether we like them or not, and I do think that the rules, the MCO, multiple club ownership rules, are flawed majorly, and I do believe that the bigger clubs in Europe do benefit from how they operate and the loopholes they've created using them. However, the rules are the rules, and as much as I would like to feel complete sympathy, I know how others felt towards us, and I don't want to be that guy that goes, well, rules are rules and that's that, and be kind of a job's worth about it, because that's not what I'm about. But I do believe that we had a really bad end of the stick with PSR, and we didn't follow the rules, and unfortunately we got punished. And I still believe PSR rules are flawed. I think that the teams that come up are very, very much in an uneven landscape, which doesn't bode well on the fact that this is the best league in the world. So we are told, and the money suggests it's the best league in the world, but actually one where the teams that are coming up don't actually have that much of an opportunity to stay up. And yes, they can spend big, but when they spend big, they are chased and hounded by the media for doing so. So really, you can't win if you're trying to enter the Premier League and join this elite group of football teams. You really do just have to get lucky. And to be fair to Forest, we made the lucky escape twice, because the first season, we just stayed up. Second season, we were even worse points wise. So I think that there's so many flaws to a lot of the rules, but we have to stick by them. And again, while I feel sad because on merit Crystal Palace should be there, they're not. But to blame that on Forest, I really do think is quite poor and actually quite lazy, to be fair. But again, this isn't an attack on Palace. I still don't mind Palace, and I still think they're a very good family club. And teams like Forest and Palace should be sticking together. There's a big cartel of the big six clubs that are benefiting from PSR rules and the massive multi-club ownership situations. Look at Strasbourg and Chelsea for one, and these are rules that really the smaller teams can't afford to exploit. So yes, it is an unlevel playing field, and I think that Palace and Forest should put whatever differences they've got aside and just get on with it. And like Nuno said earlier in the week, that don't make out that Forest are the bad guys, because we're not, and I think that Nuno would share what I've said there in terms of merit, because it's true. They can say what they want about it, but Crystal Palace won the FA Cup, they won the Community Shield, they absolutely deserve to be in Europa League. But unfortunately, again, for them, the situation dictates otherwise due to the rules, whether we like them or not. For those of you just joining in, thank you for jumping in. I know there's only a few of us to start with. I don't know how many we're going to get along. I know that others do watch alongs as well, but it'd be good to have as many as we can. Big game coming up in the next 23 minutes. Of course, Palace v Forest. Prezi, you can never underestimate Palace, you say. I agree. I think they've got a really, despite the loss of Eze, they've still got a very good team. Obviously, Devaney filling in for Eze now, which is a little bit different. We may as well actually run through the teams while we're here. So I can bring you first the team for Nottingham Forest, which I do think is a very strong team, of course, with a fantastic bench. Something that's a bit different this season is the strength of the bench. So in goal, Matt Sels. A back four, Williams, Murillo, Milenkovic and Aina. In midfield, Gibbs, White, Anderson and Sangare. And then a front three of Hudson-Odoi and Doy and Chris Wood. So unchanged, really nice to see. And then that subs bench: Gunn, Murato, Douglas Luiz, Callum Mwendo, Jesus, Hutchinson, Yates, McAtee and Bolly. So no Jair Cunha, which is an interesting omission. You would have thought that maybe Cunha would have been with a shout over someone like Bolly or maybe even Murato, but obviously he's still learning the tricks of his trade. You'd hope not going out on loan, because it would be nice to see him stick around, especially with the fact that we've got Binden on loan, and of course Abbott's still very raw. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him, Jair Cunha. But that being said, we'll have to wait and see when the time comes. We've got another 15 minutes or so until the game. Get your comments in. If you are watching now, drop us a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Introduce yourself. It'd be good to speak to you. Obviously, it's been a bit of a while since we last did a stream. And again, it's the live streams that are now back. And looking forward to showcasing a bit of this game, to be honest. It's going to be an exciting one. Obviously, I know that Forest v Crystal Palace, again, is one game that I think everyone's kind of got their eyes on for the grudge match, like I mentioned. So I'm really excited for how this one plays out. Kel, how you doing? Good to see you. It has been a little while, hasn't it? Since we all kind of caught up. It's been a long time since we did streams. Just thinking about it, it's been nearly 2 years since we last did streaming. So this is quite fun. Actually, this is quite fun. It's going to be a bit of a longer stream. So if you are joining in and you're not at the game, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be bringing you all the latest action and, of course, my thoughts on the game as well. Keen to have as much discussion in the chat as we possibly can, keeping things nice and active, and of course discussing the game that's going on, because this is a massive fixture for both clubs. And of course, Forest will be wanting to start off their season even better, beating Brentford last time, and obviously Brentford off the back of a really good win against Aston Villa. Dengo Utara is a wonderful, wonderful footballer. I mean, the money that they've paid for him is really good, and I think that it is a massive loss for Bournemouth, to be honest, because he plays across different positions, very hungry. I think he's just one of those players that needed a move to really prove how good he was. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a standout for Brentford. I've not got him in my FPL, I'm going to be honest. The only person from Bournemouth I have got is Semenyo. Let me know how your FPLs are going as well. Timber, so good after that, especially after that win yesterday for Arsenal. Really, really big win. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Kel says, have you seen Nuno's interview they've just done? I haven't seen it. Let me know. Nuno says, of course he wants to continue as head coach. Brilliant news. So the breaking news that we can say then is, thanks to Kel, is that Nuno says he wants to stay as head coach. Great news to hear, to be honest. And again, like I said to you earlier in the stream, actually, before that interview was put out, the thing that I'm hearing is that Marinakis is absolutely committed to, Evangelos Marinakis is completely committed to settling the situation and avoiding a fallout, because he wants stability. I don't think it's, as many reports have alluded to, especially The Athletic with Daniel Taylor, I don't think it's actually the ownership of Nuno that's a bit of a loggerheads. It's more Nuno and Edu, and of course, because Edu is now involved, it does relinquish the amount of work that Evangelos Marinakis has to do. So of course there's going to be distance, but it sounds like they're all going to sit down this week and clear things up, which is really positive to hear, because to be honest with you, I'm not in the boat of saying, well, I think we should sack Edu then, or we should sack Nuno. I really don't think that is the solution. They're both brought in for different things. Nuno is the manager, the head coach, sorry, I should say, because it's a really important thing to note. Nuno's the head coach who's come in to stabilise a team during a really tough time, which is he was parachuted in, is pretty much the phrase that most people coined. And he's turned things around, and he's created a consistency in how we play and the kind of sort of players we need to bring in. And I think Edu is more looking for the long term. Of course, I don't think anyone's naive enough to think that Nuno's going to be at this football club till the day he retires. I mean, I love Nuno, so if that was ever a thing and the football could carry on and keep getting better, then of course you'd love that. But I'm under no illusion that in football that's not how things work. And the reason you bring in someone like Edu is to protect the long-term investment and security of the club in the Premier League. So Edu will, create a consistency within the players brought in. He'll create a consistency within the way the club plays, and therefore he's creating the environment for which any manager that fits in that philosophy can just jump in and work with. So naturally, it's going to be frustrating for a manager when some responsibility and control is taken out of their hands. It's a normal thing. These guys are human and they're here to do a job. And of course, they don't want someone interfering. But then this is the nature of bringing in someone like Edu. As much as I see Nuno's point and want to kind of be saying that he deserves all the control over transfers, and I'm sure that Nuno has had a very positive influence on the players signed, you bring in someone like Edu, again, to protect the long-term interests of the club and to really kind of enforce the values over the long term. So I'm optimistic for things working out well. Like I've said on my Twitter, and this was an informed post, it wasn't just me randomly shit posting to say it less politely. I am optimistic that Nuno stays, and it's not just today. I'm optimistic that Nuno stays for the long-term future of Forest, till the end of the season, you'd think. But I honestly don't think that we should be treating this as too much of a sort of insecure situation, because I do really believe that there's three professionals there, three grown adults, three professionals that do want what's best for Forest. and are willing to make the compromises necessary for the success of this football club. So it is really important that we kind of just relax and let things play out and realise that these guys are doing their jobs. And because they all want success for Forest in their own way, passion and, ideas and their work ethic is going to come together. And yes, they are going to clash and things are going to go wrong. The issue is with me when these things go public, when they could be dealt with privately. Hence why I was really against the leaks that suggested they were going to look at sacking Nuno, and then obviously Nuno's comments to come and put more fuel on the fire. That was all a real bad mistake. That's where my concern lied the most. But the fact that they've kind of come in and, now said in the media, Nuno's gone and said in an interview that he's staying at Forest and they're going to sit down and talk, that's refreshing. And for the sake of the changing room, because obviously you don't want the changing room thinking that the situation is up in the air and putting more pressure on them. You just want your manager to kind of, again, create that stability, albeit for an in-house reason, and keep building from there, because this team doesn't need to be knocked off from the momentum it's gaining. And it really is doing. The club are doing a fantastic job. Who would have thought that Forest to be in Europa League this time a few years ago when we were losing against Stoke? You just wouldn't have thought it, would you? So it is really, really good to see, just to see the kind of the progress and the evolution of this football club over in football, a very short period of time, from battling relegation and, PSR, points deductions. If you went even further back, potential administrations, owner changes, all these things to this, I like to say it when I'm coaching, it's all about perspective. But in terms of football like this, it is still all about perspective. You really do have to look at kind of where you've come from as a team and as a group. And this team and group have been through so much, lots of different changes. If you looked at that first Premier League squad that Forest had against Newcastle, where you had like Jack Cole back in midfield with Lewis O'Brien or whoever, and you look at it now, you think, my God, like, how on earth did we go from there to there, So it really is just such an amazing journey. And yeah, that perspective is so important. So I'm just going to reiterate, I am going to have to keep looking up here for the game. Obviously starting in around 6 or 7 minutes now, so buckle up. This is going to be an exciting one. Doesn't look very violent at Selhurst Park. Everyone seems pretty chilled out. So we'll wait and see how we go. Obviously, if you are watching this stream and you're enjoying it, please drop a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you can drop a comment as well, like I say, I would really like to get engaged with you guys. It's 5 of you watching now. It would be really good to have a few more of you here with me. And of course, if you want to get involved, let me know. Interesting to note as well, of the 5 games played yesterday, there was 2 goals. In fact, there was no... I can have a look at this. 5 teams that didn't score out of the 5. So they were all 2-0, 5-0, 1-0, 2-0. That's crazy, isn't it? That's really, really crazy to think that there was that many higher scoring games with teams just not getting anything back. A few clean sheets there. That's impressive. Everyone's FPL is bouncing up and down this week, to be honest. A bit of an interesting one, especially if you had Burnley in your Burnley players. If you had them in your FPL, you're probably a bit more happy than I thought you would be. Thought Sunderland might get a result against Burnley, actually, to be fair, after thumping West Ham the way they did. But this is the Premier League. Anything can happen. So we'll have a little look. So they're just doing all the introductory stuff and all that kind of rubbish. Currently watching on Stan. I don't know if any of you that are listening are from Australia or have used Stan before, but it is a decent little app. And we get, Champions League, Premier League, highlights, all in one place. I actually think it's baffling that you can watch 3 p.m. kickoffs and you can get all this content 12,000 miles from home, but on your doorstep you can't watch a game at 3 p.m. which, by the way, has zero impact on lower league teams. I think that the 3 p.m. blackout is one of the most, and feel free to let me know your thoughts as well. I honestly think that the 3 p.m. blackout is one of the most useless rules to exist, because I truly don't believe that it has the impact that people believe it has on like lower league football. I just really don't believe it does. Let me know what you think again, because I just think that if people want to go and watch lower league football, they'll go and watch lower league football. I really don't think it's... I really don't think people are that bothered about the 3 p.m. kickoff that they wouldn't go and watch a team they wanted to go and watch. If I wanted to go and watch Notts County, for example, I know it's not on league, but I'd go and watch Notts County. It's not, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe that's just me, but that's my honest opinion on the whole situation. I just think it's a really bogus, boring rule. That doesn't actually offer that much. So currently getting a few things ready now for the stream. A few little last minute bits. 5 minutes to go, and of course it's Anthony Taylor refereeing. So buckle up, because that's going to be exciting. So this should be a fun one. Cool little tifo at the moment being shown up there with the FA Cup. Let's have an eye on some of these comments that are coming in. Thank you to all those that are currently jumping in the chat and so on and so forth. Really appreciate it. Good morning, Brucey. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Over in the States, aren't you? Over in the States. You're at the complete opposite side to me in terms of time and stuff. So good to see you here, first of all. It's good to have all the Talking Reds family on here with me. You guys are awesome. So, interesting lineup for Crystal Palace. Richards, Lacroix, Gahey in the defence, Munoz, Wharton, Hughes, Mitchell in the midfield, Sarr, Devaney and Mateta as the front three. So you can tell there's a couple missing really there, but you've still got danger players. I mean, Mateta, of course, being the one that you'd probably consider most, being the danger man up front for them. So he's certainly someone that will be trying to give Forest defenders a bit of a nightmare. Good strong back three as well with Lacroix and Gahey. Interesting to see if Gahey actually stays as well, given the whole situation with his contract being up next year. And it'd be really interesting to see whether Parish is ready to kind of die on that hill of letting him go on a free like he did with Wilfred Zaha. It's a difficult stance for a club of Palace's, with all respect. An interesting stance for a club like that, of that stature, to take, given the modern PSR situation and the fact that, of course, every penny really does count. So to keep players that you could sell for 30, 40 million pounds and have a huge profit from, and to not sell them and let them go on a free is a big gamble. So it's interesting to kind of see that. Obviously, Forest debuting their new away shirt as well today, which is nice. Really hope to get it. Let me know what your thoughts on the away shirt are as well. I'm really keen to know, because I actually think it's really nice. Some people that I've spoken to out here are really not keen on it, but I think it looks really clean. I'm a big fan. So as soon as I've got a bit more money, I'm going to get buying that, I think. But I'm liking the team so far. Very strong. Building from the back, really, aren't we? In terms of a good, strong keeper, really good back four, and then that midfield pairing of Sangare and Anderson with Gibbs White just in front is strong. It's heavyweight, so we really need to make sure that everyone's on the ball today. Like you say, Brucey, Palace will be up for it. Hopefully, just play like we did last week. Yeah, definitely, I agree. I think obviously the difference is this week is that we've got that game in us. We've got that. The feeling of football being back a little bit. Obviously, we are away from home, so that is naturally more difficult. Edu Gaspar at the moment being pictured on the big screen alongside Ross Wilson, Nuno in the bench. Someone's probably going to be looking into Nuno's face now saying, look how unhappy he is. But that would suggest to me they've never seen Nuno before the match before. So it's really nice to see everybody together. Edu there, and to be honest with you, I really just don't want any more noise regarding it. I just want to keep, going forward, because what this team has built is so special. This is the best we've seen Forest in my lifetime, potentially in some of your lifetimes, if you're of a certain generation like me. And if not of a certain generation like me, certainly, in your generation, it's been a long time since you've seen Forest this good. But we're going to kick off. Palace are going to kick off. And let's see how we go. 10 of you watching. If you are just jumping in, thank you. Come on, Jamie Son, says Daniel. Love that, brother. Thank you, mate. Anthony Taylor's going to kick off the game here in just a moment's time. So looking forward to this. And the game is underway. Let's go. Okay. I'm excited for this. This is a first for me. So I'm trying to not go full Goldbridge on you. I hope that the setup's okay. We are going to keep improving it as the weeks go by, but as like a sort of starting streaming template, I think we're doing okay. Interesting to see how Palace approach this game today, because of course I'm a massive fan of how Glasner plays, and I think that his way of football would have been interesting to see with some of these players. Actually, I think it would have really suited a couple of them. Brucey, Forest fans singing loud and proud for Marinakis. If it wasn't for restrictions, by the way, I'd probably be showing you. Well, I'd be showing you the game if it wasn't for restrictions, but I'd definitely be playing the audio at least. I just don't want to risk getting myself in trouble. Wood's getting himself involved nice and early, but he's going to face a tough task today. Maxime Lacroix. He's a really, really good player for them. Centre-back for Crystal Palace. Probably an FPL favourite, to be fair. But Raddad, I have to agree. I do think this is the best squad. I mean, you've said in 30 years, I can't speak for the other 10, but as a 20-year-old that's watched Forest pretty much since the early years of my life, and from what I can at least remember of them, this is without a doubt better than the team we used to have back then. Question for you though, Raddad. Would you rather have Chris Wood or Greg Halford up front? That's the big old question for you. I've got a free kick from Dean Henderson. Pushing the back there from Murillo. Oh, you just know Anthony Taylor's going to be living for every little thing today. Of all the referees that you could give this game, by the way, and you give it to Anthony Taylor, you're asking for a social media statement there, aren't you? Interesting appointment. Number 11. Yeah, Raddad, no, 100%. Greg Halford, though. Player. Interesting team in general that Crystal Palace have got. I'm a really big fan of Adam Wharton as well. Someone that apparently Real Madrid are looking at as well, which is interesting. Playing in that kind of... He's a very Spanish style midfielder in how quickly he plays the ball and receives it. And he's actually on the ball now. Into the box and he clears it. So strange not commentating on this game. I feel really, really different. And I'm going to make a comment, actually. I'm going to do it after he's crossed the ball because I don't want to speak it into existence. But I've got to say, Will Hughes, as much as we all dislike him because he's ex-Derby. There we go. Oh, Wood's on a run here. Had me nervous there. As much as we don't like Will Hughes because, yes, he is ex-Derby, I have to say he's a really, really good footballer. Oh, Palace in on goal here. It's Devaney. Oh, cross goal. That's a big stop from Murillo there. That was close. It's the youngster Devaney there for Palace. Just looking at how he got around here. Milenkovic and Aina just let Sarr slip through completely. Got to get through to that. If you are watching the game, obviously let me know. If you're not, big long ball through in between Milenkovic and Aina. Just a bit of a lapse of concentration, but again, Murillo's the one to save the day. He loves a goal line deflection, or at least a deflection in front of goal. So interesting here. Interested to see the roles of Anderson and Sangare actually, because obviously with Douglas Luiz coming in now, there's a worry that maybe Sangare could leave, but I would actually argue that Douglas Luiz's best position is as an 8. Just like Gibbs White, I think Gibbs White's a better 8 than he is a 10 because of his progressive carries and how he plays and how he transitions. I think he adds that physicality to the transition, and of course, he's got that flair that Forest need. He's on the ball now, on the right wing. It's a speculative cross. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm trying not to commentate on this because I don't want it to be too awkward, but I'm going to give it my best effort. Chris Wood. He can shoot from anywhere. Good bit of play, but this is what I mean. I think that the Anderson, Gibbs White, Sangare link up is really, really good because they are rotating really well to start this. If you are watching the game, you probably would have just seen kind of almost a flat 3 in front of the defence, exposing those pockets where the Palace press is leaving. So it's interesting to see how they approach this. They're not quite as ruthless with their pressing. They're not quite as high up. And I think they're kind of just trying to pin Palace in if they can. It's a good bit of midfield play, to be fair, from Palace. Cleared by Murillo. Don't know if you guys were watching Sky before, but I saw on a clip one of the Sky people saying that Henderson left Forest last year and was replaced by Sells, which is interesting because how could they ever forget the goalkeeper that succeeded Henderson, Keylor Navas, the 5 times Champions League winning goalkeeper. And you can't forget him. That's still one of the best pictures I've ever had with anyone. Is Keylor Navas, I think. It's a lot of just kicking it long and back and forth between the two teams at the moment. Interesting start. We've only been 5.5 minutes in-ish. And I'm hoping that my stop clock is on time. I'm trying to keep it all on time if I can. So let me know if you do see any technical difficulties and I'll try and fix it as quick as I can. Referee, got to give that really, haven't they? If you are watching it on the TV, do let me know what you are thinking, obviously. Trying to keep it as interactive as I can. 5 of you at the moment. I know most people are going to be at the game, so probably not going to get a hell of a lot. But if you are interested and you are looking to get involved wherever you are, it'd be great to have you along with us. And if, of course, you could share it to any of your friends or anything, please do. I've got to say, I'm really liking the look of Sangare since pre-season. The end of last season, after that Chelsea game where he probably should have stayed on an extra 15 or so minutes. Now to see him, he's really involved with the team. He's communicating more, a bit more of a quiet character usually. But it's good to see him kind of trusting himself a little bit more and playing like he hasn't got that kind of pressure on him that he had last season, really. So interesting to see what he can do. I'd love to see him score soon. He really does need that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think the last time he scored, and it wasn't even in a competitive game, it was pre-season v Chesterfield that he scored. Sangare, funnily enough, going up against Sarr at the moment. Lovely little bit of play by Mateta to get Crystal Palace forward as well. He's another player that I would have loved to have seen at Forest as Mateta. Could you imagine having Chris Wood on the pitch and then him coming off and then having Mateta? That would be incredible. Got a comment from Dan Ferguson, my mate Dan. I would say my favourite signing this summer, of course, Douglas Luiz, because if he can replicate the form he had at Villa, then, I mean, the standard of player that you've got there is a £60 million footballer. More. You know, he's a really, really top footballer. So it'd be nice to see him kind of replicate how he did before. And obviously it won't be easy because, you know, he's had a season full of injuries and difficult times at Juventus. But who knows? I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. But I would say Douglas Luiz. Then again, Arnaud, Callum Wendo, Football Manager players and people who do just in general like to do a bit of research on the players that Forest are linked with, they'll know the kind of standard of player that Callum Wendo is. Corner coming up now. Something that Douglas Luiz actually will be good on as well, funnily enough. So let's see how this corner goes. It'd be nice to get a set piece goal, wouldn't it? Elliot Anderson to take it. It's not a bad corner, that, to be fair. Onto the edge of the... Oh, Jesus. That was a pretty bad shot from Sangare, to say the least. I'm glad that he's laughing it off. Brucey, I'm waiting for your comment on that, because that was different from Sangare. I will have to say. I don't think Nuno was the best pleased about that. Definitely no goal from a set piece to start the game. 9 minutes gone. That's strong bench. Angus Gunn, Yates, Bolly, Hutchinson, Calamuendo. Yeah, that's a strong bench. I think last season the criticism that we had was that the bench was really weak. You know, you still had players like Sosa and, you know, a couple of the academy boys had to fill in just for there to be enough people on the bench. So it's nice to see a bench where now, like, you know, you do have to omit someone from the squad in order to go out and put a squad out. You know, it's difficult. Obviously, you don't want to see someone like Jair Cunha out, but that's the nature of kind of the Premier League now, and the nature of the squad that Forest have built, the really strong squad Forest have built. And Palace, in fairness to them, counter-attacking fast when they do get the ball. Anderson just lost the ball to a great challenge a minute ago. Mateta heads it over the... I thought he'd headed it over the crossbar. He'd headed it almost out for a corner down the far side. So, very interesting start, I would say. I think Forest definitely been in Palace's half more, but there's not really been any majorly close goal-scoring chances. Obviously, Chris Wood came close a little bit earlier on with a cross, but narrowly missing the post. So, interesting. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. 5 of you or 4 of you in the chat now. If you are enjoying the live stream, of course, please drop it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because I am going to do more live streams. So it would be really great to get as many of you watching as we can. We're going to try and do midweek ones, podcasts. This is like a hard launch of my YouTube channel again. I've found my motivation and I found my love for it again, starting with that video yesterday. So if you do enjoy my content, I'd appreciate you sticking by and keeping with us. Hudson-Odoi here on the edge of the box. He sent Munoz. Had to be Will Hughes to clear it, didn't it? Had to be Will Hughes. I'm going to moan about Will Hughes all game, by the way, because I really like Will Hughes, but I say I don't really like Will Hughes. I really like Will Hughes as a footballer because I think that he's actually quality, but I really don't like Will Hughes because he's one of the biggest shithouses. And every time he scores against Forest or anything good happens, he's frustrating. He's frustrating. Let me know what you guys are thinking. 5 of you in. Put the volume up a little bit. Nico Williams as well, playing on that left side. It's not something I thought we'd see, because obviously we saw Cooper utilise Williams as a left back because it's what he played with Wales mostly. Of course, I mean, when I went to go and watch Wales a couple of years ago, he was the left back and he was outstanding. And then obviously played on the right a bit more. But I think it's just nice to see Nico Williams have his confidence, because he's definitely a confidence player for me. Thomas Tuchel in attendance, so he'll be watching a couple of the England boys. Obviously, Forest have got quite a few players that are wanting to be in that England squad. So it's interesting. Obviously, Anderson and Gibbs-White probably the 2 closest in the Forest team. And then obviously for Crystal Palace, the likes of Dean Henderson and, I mean, Mark Gahey. I'm not going to say Will Hughes. I refuse to do that. Adam Wharton, obviously, because he's someone that's missed out really. And of course, Jordan Henderson comes into the team, and you think there's players the quality of Wharton not making it in. Pretty disappointing. Dan Doy just completely wiped out. Nothing said by Anthony Taylor. I wonder if it's going to be one of those games today. Should be a yellow card for this. Dan knows. I'm now a qualified referee out here in Australia, so Sorry, Anthony Taylor, but you're getting a mouthful today, mate. Early yellow card for Lacroix, though. I'm glad Gibbs White didn't get injured from the fall, but I've got to say, if your central centre back's getting a yellow card in the first 14 and a half minutes, that's pretty good for Forest. That's the ideal. Any sort of one-on-one situation with the keeper where he's the last man, and Forest could capitalise on a second yellow card, couldn't they? So fingers crossed. It's always good to have that early yellow card for one of their main men. He's going to have to stay more disciplined throughout this game. Palace pressing quite high with 3 of them at the moment. Yeah, Brucey, I do agree actually. And Doy has been quite poor. Just the weight of his passes and the runs he's been making, I just don't think he's timed his 1v1s, and again his passing's been really sloppy. So yeah, definitely need to see him get on the ball a bit more and just a bit more trust put in him by the likes of Wood, etc. So it's interesting to see how I don't know if you're noticing this as well, Brucey, but how deep Hudson-Odoi is at the moment. He's allowed Nico Williams this kind of really high roaming fullback position, and actually Hudson-Odoi is almost playing at left back. So those rotations really interesting for kind of unsettling Palace defence, which of course, because of the way they play, the 3-4-3, can be more defensive when the other team's counter-attacking. So I'm interested. It reminds me of, if you remember, obviously Vardiol, the FPL king last year, kind of the role that he played as like a disruptor, jumping out of centre-back and just going forward to kind of break up the structure of the opposition's press, and in general how they defended. So just in general how the fullbacks and the defenders for Forest are coming up as high as they are is so intriguing. You can see the tactical tweaks that Nuno's making kind of as the games go on. And Elliot Anderson, by the way, the skill from this man, insane. I've got to say as well, I actually had a chat with someone at football earlier, Matt. So shout out to Matt. I think that Anderson's ceiling is so high. He doesn't believe it, probably because he's a Man United fan, and he thinks that Amad Diallo's got a higher ceiling than Elliot Anderson. I honestly think that's one of the most baffling things I've ever heard. Let me know what you guys think, but I honestly think that Elliot Anderson's potential is genuinely sky high. And of course, naturally, the bias seeps through because we're Forest fans, and you want to get the biggest return on your investment as you can from a financial perspective at some point in the future. But even just from a legacy perspective, I would love to see Elliot Anderson, and I'm sure it's inevitable that he moves back to Newcastle because of the sentiment that is there. But I would absolutely love to see Anderson kind of cement himself into a legacy position at Forest, in the next decade to come. Could we see it? I don't know, but it would be so nice to see his full potential reached, especially at Forest. It's a great ball by Nico Williams now on the left wing. I think I'm liking Hudson-Odoi, but I feel like he's holding the ball a little bit too long in this game. Will Hughes getting booed every time he gets on the ball, by the way. Brilliant. And Dan, reckon we bring Cash back? I don't know. I feel like Forest might be a little bit more reserved and try and get in someone a little bit cheaper now. Maybe. But I think that with the lad from Sevilla rejecting them today, according to numerous reports across Spain, by the way, it would definitely be interesting to see whether he does come back. I'm open to it personally. Cash has got a massive library of Premier League and European experience. He knows the team, he knows the setup, he knows the club, he knows the culture, he knows what the club stands for. And he was a massive part of that at a very tough time for us. So I really do think it'd be nice to see him back, to be honest. I'd be really open to it. Obviously, I know that not everyone feels the same in that respect. But obviously, let me know in the comments if you would like to see Matty Cash back at the club. But in fact, I'll put a little poll out. Put a little poll in there for you. So get in the poll. Let me know what you're thinking. Would you like to see Matty Cash back at the club? Good question, Dan. Love that. Dan knows a good question. Just seeing Nketiah watching from the stands. Obviously, Forest nearly signed him for 35 million or whatever it was. I mean, I like Nketiah, but I thought he was a 10 or 15 million pound footballer. I'm going to be honest. I think the only reason he was more was because it's Arsenal. And that's one of the most expensive sales in Arsenal's history. So I just didn't think for that kind of money. I'm actually glad we didn't spend in January. I know that people are going to say that we regret that because, of course, Champions League football, but there was a few things I still think we could have tweaked that didn't require spending 30 million on another striker. And I do think that what happened. I honestly believe that we should have waited, and I think it serves us right. And it serves us better that we waited now, because look at the calibre of players we're bringing in and the lack of concern for PSR, really. That's the kind of situation we wanted to be in. Hudson-Odoi now on the edge of the box here. Goes for the early shot. And Palace really do get back in numbers when they're defending, so Forest are having to innovate. If you do spot anything, by the way, in terms of the way that Forest are playing or Palace are playing, definitely put it in the chat, because really keen to kind of get talking to you. We're going to be here until about 1 in the morning my time, so we are going nowhere anytime soon. Might have to go to the toilet break at half time, but we'll have to wait and see. Try and hold on. If you are just joining in, 11 of you currently in here, please let me know how you're going. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you being here. Obviously, it's a bit different for me. I don't do watch-alongs. I'm normally there. And obviously a big game in the capital now. Is it West London or is it East London, Crystal Palace? I can never remember, to be honest with you. 21 minutes gone so far on the clock. Nice little ball from Wharton to try and find Devaney. And to be fair to Devaney, actually, it's such a difficult position to come into for a young player like him. You're trying to succeed one of the club's greatest ever players in Eze. You've lost Michael Olise, you've lost Zaha, you lost Eze, and kind of as each one left, there was always a superstar still there, kind of not carrying the club, because I don't think that's fair to say. The likes of Gahey, Munoz, Henderson, Mateta, all these guys were stellar for Crystal Palace last season. But it has to be said that they're kind of attacking superstars like Eze, Olise, Zaha. There was always those three. Whereas now, obviously, you've got Devaney, who's now got to step in and try and, put in a big performance and, impress, which is so difficult. Richard. Yeah, Richard, welcome to the stream, first of all. I agree. I think Hudson-Odoi at the moment, because I think they're very similar in terms of they're not as fast. They're not slow by any means, but they're not as fast. And they're not quite as dynamic as someone like Elanga. So Forest are really having to work out different ways to transition. I think going through the middle more with the likes of Anderson and Gibbs-White is going to help them. Because I feel like you have to feed Hudson-Odoi and Odoi a little bit higher up to get the best out of them in these situations, just because of the fact they aren't as quick. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. I would say that the first sub I would be looking to make, and yes, it is early on and players can turn it around, so I'm not going to say that this is what should happen yet, but Odoi would be that. And it would be nice to see Hutchinson or McAtee get their first games for Forest, obviously, so there's an ulterior motive with that. Everton up by the looks of it, 1-0. That's an interesting one for them, coming off a bit of a disappointing loss just a week ago to Leeds. Obviously, Leeds not really done much since. And Crystal Palace, my God, they just put in a cross there and it forced Matt Sells to make a bit of an awkward save. think they're looking at whether it may have gone out before Sels even touched it. I think it did. Should be a goal kick there. 100%. Goal kick all day. Goal kick all day, and it's given as well. If you are watching this stream, please drop a like, because as I say, we're trying to get the streams and in general the YouTube channel back. I'm really hoping to, I've got aims and ambitions, trying to get the channel to 2K if we can by the end of the year, and then push on even further next year, because I would like to do more regular content creation. I don't want to necessarily be a YouTuber, but I do want to talk Forest related things and get involved with my subscribers. So if you are interested and you enjoy what we do, drop a subscribe, and I will be, of course, every week changing around the streaming to make it even more sleek and professional as we go along. Lovely bit of skill from Hudson-Odoi, by the way, and Gibbs White. And again, Nico Williams, he's got that free roam from Nuno to kind of go as high as he wants. I really like that, because for any of you that obviously were watching last season, you'll know Anthony Elanga had pretty much the freedom of the city to run into when it came to, the front line, could kind of run across it, and he was that auxiliary striker when he needed to be. He was the faster paced press alongside Chris Wood. Chris Wood is a much more directional kind of presser, whereas Elanga is a much more ruthless, just wants to steal the ball off you kind of presser. So it was a really good pairing. The dynamic's definitely different without Elanga, I have to say. It is a little bit different. As much as I think we've recruited well, and we shouldn't be looking back with any sort of distaste or anything. Yeah, Brucey, I agree. I think Palace have been really poor, especially in the final third. There's been a lot of chances created, I think. I wouldn't necessarily say the best chances, but a lot of chances created. Could probably do a little bit better in terms of just destroying it a little bit more in midfield and trying to retrieve the ball a little bit better. Just a bit of I wouldn't necessarily say stale game, but it's definitely not. There's not really any goalmouth action here at the moment. 8 of you watching, thank you for jumping in and joining me. It's currently 11:30 at night my time. Appreciate you all getting involved and obviously dropping your comments in. Brucey, Dan, Richard, Kel, all the guys that have been dropping your follows and your comments and stuff. I really appreciate it. Great ball by Hughes and across the penalty box. Milenkovic clears, getting me a little bit nervous. Whenever Will Hughes gets on the ball, I do get nervous, because there's just that added thing, isn't it, of him being ex-Derby and coming up against us. I just hate the thought of it. I hate the thought of it. Yeah, it gets me nervous. And Richards with the long throw as well. It's an old Forest tactic, that, isn't it? With Moussa Niakate, obviously, as you'll remember. Pretty good header as well, to be fair. If Mateta can get his head on this. I think Anthony Taylor's given a free kick. And in the box, bit of a push and shove. Anthony Taylor. Bloody theatrics. Every single time with Anthony Taylor, there's always some sort of theatrics. Take the cameras off him. Honestly, don't think there was a worse appointment you could have made for this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm watching actually that back. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just watching why the free kick was given. I don't agree with the call. I feel like Milenkovic, if anything, was more on Guéhi. I'm not going to complain, but I do think that was a poor call from Anthony Taylor, actually, looking back. Oh, Palace, great position. Mateta, great save from Sels. That was brilliant from Crystal Palace there. Forest need to sort it out now. It's not really wanting the ball as much as Palace at the moment. Just that energy is just not really there. I mean, obviously, it was a pretty, I wouldn't say an incredibly challenging move from Mateta for Sells to not save it, but still, I just don't. Oh, that's a lovely ball from Gibbs-White. And Doy unlocked down the right wing, deep into the Palace box, across goal. Hudson-Odoi, he's tried to place it backwards. Got to play the shot there for me. Got to play this shot there for me. We do look nervy, Brucey, I agree. Just in the last 5 or 10 minutes, we've just not quite looked as confident as we started. And Palace have not really got a foothold on the game, but they've definitely got themselves back in, and Mateta's making himself a bit of a nuisance, isn't he? I just think there, Brucey, with Hudson-Odoi, you touch it on your right foot, finish on your left. Just need to be a bit more decisive with our actions there, I think. So thank you for tuning in. So far, we are an hour into the stream. 8 of you watching. Thank you if you are enjoying it. Again, subscribe. I appreciate it. Trying to get to 2K before the end of the year. Now, this is poor from Sangare. Lunges at it. Diveni on the edge of the box. Tries to go across goal. Milenkovic clears for the goal kick. It's these little things. Forest at the moment. Sangare's really just started to lack a bit here. That's really, really just schoolboy stuff. Not goal side on you, man. He's got yards on you. You know, you've got to be more prepared for that. Poor from Sangare there. Poor. Really don't want Crystal Palace getting set pieces either. Both teams 1 corner each. And well, Hughes hasn't even got the ball on the line there. Take the corner. Will Hughes, to be fair, he's got the colour of the Palace shirt. Good header there from Palace, to be fair. Sal saves it. Yeah, Will Hughes has gone bright red. What's that all about? It's Lacroix. Lacroix that got the head on that, by the way. Good save from Matt Sells. Just need that injection of energy and flair from one of the England boys. You would have thought it'd be Gibbs-White or Anderson, and just need something at the moment. I mean, a goal would be ideal, obviously. It's a lovely ball from Gibbs-White, or I thought it was, but rolls out for a goal kick. Let me know what your thoughts are. We are 31.5 minutes gone, so not doing too bad. Nuno pretty resolute. Glasner shouting as much as he can on the sidelines. Good couple of weeks for Crystal Palace, to be fair. I know that he's obviously disappointed with the transfer work being done. But despite that and all the noise, etc., around the situation with Cass and Palace, you know, they've gone out and won a Community Shield after the FA Cup as well. So it's been a really successful calendar year for Crystal Palace. And definitely Oliver Glasner, who has cemented himself as a manager who does go out and win trophies. You know, obviously he won the Europa League with Frankfurt. You know, very, very good head coach. Palace in the box now. Back post for Mitchell. And again, that's poor from Mitchell. Strike it first time. Why are all the footballers today, they're so scared of striking it first time? It's like they've got to walk every goal has to be walked into the net. And the commentator saying Forest looking solid defensively. I mean, I think they've been all right, but I wouldn't go as far as solid, to be honest. A bit lackadaisical at times. Let me know what you're thinking. I think overall it's been a bit of a shaky experience so far for the majority of this half. Seven of you watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. 65 minutes into the stream. Still got another 12 minutes to go of the match, so see how we go. Well, of the first half, sorry, should I say. Anderson with a big ball in now. Wood puts it across the goal, and it's Gibbs-White. Oh, my goodness, that's horrific. That's horrendous. Sorry, that's absolutely honking from Gibbs-White. The ball was perfect, by the way, from Chris Wood. I mean, I say perfect. It could have been on the floor, but Gibbs-White, the way he struck it, that is poor. Wood on the edge of the box, and yes, it's bouncing, but it's completely skied it. Completely skied it. I'm trying not to be too negative about that, but that was really poor. It's one thing I think Gibbs White really could improve on. I think Gibbs White is his shooting ability. I feel like he gets himself into so many scoring positions, and actually for a midfielder, I think he has to have higher goal numbers for the kind of midfielder that he is in order to justify a higher price tag. To be completely honest with you, of course, I want to sell him for more than the 60 million that was mentioned, but if he had a better, if he had better shooting boots, I think you'd be looking in that 80 million pound bracket, 70 million pound bracket, because he does give you the assists, he does give you the transitional benefits. He does give you a lot of good things that aren't goals. But the goals is the thing I feel like his game misses, and his shots really do let him down. And yeah, Brucey, I think Anderson as well, yeah. I think Anderson's been on the cusp of a goal for a while, to be fair to him. Gibbs White he's been in so many good shooting positions. Even against Brentford the other day, there was chances that he had, and you think, it's so frustrating because he's such a good player. Well, Hudson-Odoi is on the ball now. Just hounded out immediately by Munoz and Chris Richards. They're hunting in packs today, Palace. And you always feel like, I remember when I first watched Glasner, I think it was Palace v Everton. We were in Germany, and I remember thinking, it always looks like Palace have got more players. That midfield is so compact and congested. So difficult to play through the middle. Sangari's frustrating me. Really frustrating me. He's just swinging at the ball at the moment. There's not actually any sort of strategy to what he's doing. He's just swinging at the ball. And Gibbs White as well, trying the fancy flicks at the wrong times. It's just not times well. And there we go. Sarr scores for Palace. That's poor. That is honestly so poor. It has been coming as well. It's so poor. I mean, Gibbs White, to think, why on earth would you go for a fancy flick backwards? Check your shoulder. There's a man behind you. Just looking at this, Milenkovic clears it, and the first thing Gibbs White thinks is, let's go for a fancy flick. Will Hughes is on your shoulder. Bring it down and put it to Anderson or clear it. We're messing about with it on the edge of our own box. And in fairness to Munoz, that is a wonderful cross. Munoz, brilliant cross. And no one's even marking Sarr. Aina's not on Sarr. I mean, how have you let your man... I mean, I don't know whose man it was, because Sangari and Anderson are on the same man. But the lack of communication there is poor. That's shocking. Great finish from Sarr. And then that is... I've got to give credit to Palace there. That is a really well set up goal. But Forest, why play with it on the edge of your own box? 37.5 minutes gone, and the score now. I'll update the scoreboard. Unfortunately for Palace. There we go. 1-0 to Crystal Palace is now the scoreline. Let me know what you're thinking. Not a good goal to concede at all, Dan, I agree. I just think the marking there was really lazy. And Palace now are going to make it so difficult to get back into the game. I just think that it'd be tough to make a half-time change, because you don't want to change things around a hell of a lot more. But I really do think we need a bit more. We need a bit more energy on the wing. So I'd like to see Hutchinson come on for Ndoye. And to be honest, I'd really like to see Sangari replaced. I just don't think his impact in the last 25 minutes has been positive at all. It's who's going to play the 6. Probably Douglas Luiz, you would have thought. Unless Anderson drops to the 6. We'll have to wait and see. So Forest at the moment trying to kind of work out of possession now. They're kind of sitting in a 4-1-4-1. Sangari kind of sitting in between the lines. So sussing out what Palace are trying to do. play in between the lines and again break forward. And of course, they're looking to advance wide. You can even see Munoz at the moment pointing to Gerhi on the edge of the box. Just kind of trying to get those wide balls out. And obviously, because you've got the wing backs, trying to use as much width of the pitch as you can. Let me know your thoughts on that, of course. Disappointing again. 1-0 down inside the first half, just before half-time as well. It's just the last time you really want to be conceding. But at the moment, just the energy and everything's just a bit off. A lot of flapping about the ball and not really as much kind of structure as Forest usually have. Handball against Ilanga. Against Olaina. Just watching. Trying to make a call for a free kick. Seriously. Murillo maybe left his studs in on Mateta there. Maybe, I think, just got away with that one. Murillo. A couple of times, to be fair, he's got lucky where he's made a bit of a rash challenge. Very good at hiding it. Very good at hiding it. Thank God as well. The last thing we need is a free kick or a penalty against this team. And Anthony Taylor's really avoiding giving any free kicks in midfield at the moment. A couple of times where Anderson and Gibbs-White have been clipped on the leg by Wharton or Hughes, and it's just been left. Forest sitting deep in the blocks now. What on earth is... And the commentator brings up Wills Hughes like and score against Forest. I'm done with this game. I'm already done with this game. Again, just Ndoye there, trying to defend it, and he's just fell over his man, and Aina's just, let Mitchell have the kind of freedom of the city a little bit. The energy and the desire to actually close down the ball and defend just is not there. It's strange. And Sangare just loses the ball to Mateta now. Taylor's not given a free kick against Palace. Probably should have been as well on Sarr. It's a dangerous call to give that. Glasner booked. He loves giving managers yellow cards, by the way, Anthony Taylor. If any of you remember Brighton away where Morgan Gibbs-White was, obviously made that tackle on Joao Pedro and Anthony Taylor was, essentially snitching on him. Doesn't look like Gay's too happy about that. Sarr's still down. Just under 3 minutes to go of normal time now. Now, I look back, actually, I think Anthony Taylor made the right call for that Sarr challenge. I don't think there was anything in that. VAR had a look as well now. I think that is the right call. 7 of you watching, let me know what you're thinking of the stream, of course. It's something different. Any feedback or pointers I always appreciate, because this is completely new to me, so I'm still kind of working out how we do these things and how they operate. One of the other coaching staff at Crystal Palace, Angus Schmid, given a yellow card. Milenkovic has been solid today. Good defensively, isn't he, Milenkovic? He's just gets the job done every time. And it's a really nice balance, him and Murillo, where you've got that kind of fast, agile defender in Murillo, and then you've got this sort of big, no-nonsense defender in Milenkovic. I mean, who doesn't want a big bloody Serbian centre-back leading their line? Interesting as well, because I actually really do rate the kind of lineup that Forest went with. Thought it really, really suited them. Um, but again, you've got that strong bench now as well, so you can kind of, at least if things are going a bit stale, which I think they are, and there does need to be some energy and different ideas brought onto this pitch to change things, unless there's a big second half, halftime team talk, sorry. I just think we need to change things up a little bit, to be honest. Let me know what you're thinking. 6 of you currently in. 75 minutes of the stream gone. 40, just under 45 minutes gone now of the game. Palace 1, Forest nil, as you can see, just there. Just there. Again, interested to hear your thoughts. It's going to be a bit of a late one here in Byron Bay, New South Wales, Australia. Time's currently 11:45 at night. I know that, Brucey, you're watching over in the US, so very different time zones for the both of us. So interesting times to be getting up at and going to sleep at. I tell you what, these Crystal Palace players, they just jump straight on the ball with their hands and get given the free kicks. Don't want to be giving free kicks away in that kind of position. 8:45 in the US. I wish it was 8:45 here, Brucey. I wish. I'm knackered. But it isn't going to stop me streaming and talking about Forest. Hopefully we can get a goal and get back into this game. Can I see it? Really? When we've only got a minute of added time? Not particularly. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? I'm going to nip to the toilet at half time, so I'll briefly kind of turn the camera off and stuff, and we'll get back to the game again, as I say, in about 15 minutes when the game restarts. Currently Crystal Palace 1, Forest 0. And again, if you are enjoying the stream or you do want to jump on, we'll be planning to get a few more things as well if we can in place to have guests and stuff like that on this new way of doing the platform. Free kick now for Wharton. Back post. Off the post as well. It's a great header on the floor from Gahey, the captain. That was almost 2-0 there. Dangerous stuff. Great run as well by Gahey as well. Just ran in around the Forest defence and to the back post. But that is half time. So I'm just going to quickly nip out. Keep yourselves talking in the chat and whatever else. And we'll see you very, very soon for the second half. Okay, let's get straight back into this because we've got to talk about that first half, haven't we? I've just said it on Twitter, and I really do think that this is the case as well. I really feel that was a flat, um, really flat first half. Really flat. I feel like Ndoye, like I've said, Ndoye and Sangari have been so poor. I feel like that at the moment you could almost use someone like Brian Yates. He's going to come in, steady the ship, and give the team a little bit more bite in a game like this because, like I say, I feel like the team is lacking intensity and work rate for each other. They're not really working hard for each other. I mean, I've been particularly shocked by Dan Ndoye. I thought he had a really good game against Brentford, but today he's been so poor. Really not the same Dan Ndoye that we had in the last game. Of course, it's a different challenge. It's a new team, and not every game is going to be an outstanding one. I understand it. He's still new to the Premier League, and of course, when you score on your debut, the expectancy and just in general, the pressure that's on him is quite large. So I can definitely understand why maybe he isn't performing to his best. Well, that was close, nearly lost the laptop there. But I just feel like a couple of changes are needed. I was going to say maybe it's best to wait until the 60th minute or something, but I feel like that might just be a bit too late because if Palace do score early, you're asking for trouble. So yeah, I would say, and let me know what you're thinking as well. But Sangari and Ndoye are the two players that I would change, potentially with an eye to change Hudson-Odoi a little bit later on as well. Maybe bring on someone like Jesus or Calamuendo, just to offer something a little bit different. Because at the moment, I think Forest, just not really got the energy. And there is a few people alluding to the situation this week potentially having a bit of an effect on them. But even we know when Forest are going through tough times, this isn't the football that we play. This has been a complete shadow of what it was last week. Really dominant first half against Brentford, and this half, I wouldn't even say it's been a dominant performance by Palace. I still think this game is very much for the taking, in my opinion. I don't think that Palace have been outstanding. But Forest have been really poor and too open at the back, and they've allowed Palace to advance into some really dangerous positions that a professional Premier League footballing outfit should not be allowing them to get into. I.e. that goal from Sarr, it is absolutely unforgivable that at this level, with respect to Ola Aina and Elliot Anderson and how highly I praised them, it is absolutely unacceptable that you've got two players there of that quality or any quality in the Premier League that aren't marking up. It's the basics of football. It's a really lovely and well-worked move from Munoz, but you can't expect Milankovic and Murillo to be there to clear it every single time. There's Sangare and Anderson marking the same man. Aina's kind of wherever. So I think that there just needs to be a bit more focus with things like that because, again, we're giving, and I know that Palace will, of course, create width with the wing-backs and it makes things a little bit more difficult. And if Sangare isn't as involved supporting the defence, they are going to be outnumbered. But I just think that it's been poor. Shadow of our usual selves. But massive 45 incoming. I'm not going to be too negative because, again, I still believe that this game is very much for the taking and there's something you can get from this game in the form of at least a point. But we should be aiming for more than that. Even now. Yeah, so excuse me, sorry, it's midnight now, bang on the dot midnight. So welcome to watching football on the continent that we're in. This is a big game. This is such a big game. I'm honestly excited for the second half. Honestly excited. 5 of you watching at the moment. I know it's going to be a bit of a quieter stream tonight because we do have to get back into the roll of things. I remember when I was first streaming, you'd have 1 or 2 people in there. And like now, I feel so lucky to have 5 of you here. So thank you if you are joining me and supporting me. Of course, I know there's been people dropping in and out for various reasons. If before you drop out, or if you want to keep watching, just drop us a subscribe and a like as well. It really does go a long way because it helps other people to see this content. So if you can support me in that way, I'd really appreciate it. So thank you. Waiting for the next half to come up. And then we can get things back underway. Let me know your thoughts. Any substitutions that you guys think that you would make coming into this second half? Would you give it a little bit of time before you make the changes? And Stan at the moment, looking at the stats of Ismail Assar, who's had a really, really strong performance today. Won a couple of free kicks, getting himself in those scoring positions, and obviously as a result of that, scored a wonderfully taken goal. So he's a good player. One I think Forest actually looked at signing from Marseille. I think he was at before. So big second half coming up. Not sure whether Forest are going to make any subs just yet. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely in favour of it, to be completely honest with you. 9 of you watching, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, if you haven't, keep getting involved. I'm really keen to know what you guys are thinking coming up to half time, because of course half time in the Premier League, big half time chat from Nuno. We've seen it before. They can conjure up anything, can't they? I think probably my favourite game of Nuno's was that Aston Villa win. That 2-1 was amazing. How are you, the lads? Big up, mate. Love that. I mean, just saying, I'm not saying that I love the Newcastle part, but thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Ryan Woodward, thank you, mate. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you, mate. Think the most likely change Sangare out for half time for who? I'd say Yates. I mean, people are still going to berate Yates till the end of time, right? That's just how Forest works. But Ryan Yates does shore up the midfield, and he does bring a bite and an energy that an academy lad would. So, yeah, I would say that Yates would be the change that I would make at the moment. He'd definitely deal with Will Hughes better than anyone. But, yeah, it'd be nice to get something today, not just from the point of view of needing points, but also in general, just the noise around Nuno and stuff. It'd be nice for that to just kind of not have any additional pressure. Not that I actually do think anything that happens today will affect that situation, but having a look at the moment, James McAtee's still on the bench. So no change regarding him. I don't actually know if they've changed anyone. Don't think they have. So same team it looks like at the moment. Interesting choice. I can imagine they probably won't give it a hell of a lot of time before they do make a change, though. Interesting decision not to change. And again, let me know what you guys are thinking of the stream. I'm going to try and do more stuff like this if we can. Obviously, if the support is really good, we'll try and do it a bit more frequently. I'm currently not working out here at the moment, just to, due to various few things. So it's a good thing just to have a bit of time. Murillo now on the edge of the Palace box. I thought he was going to go and have a shot there. Surely it's a matter of time before we see Murillo score. Here's Ndoye. Tries to cross it in. First corner of the second half. Munoz, good tackle as well. Great player, by the way, Munoz. Good defensively, good going forward. Definitely one for the FPL, I would say. I've got Yuri and Timber in. Let me know who you guys have got in your FPLs, but Yuri and Timber for me takes the spot. So corner coming in. Anderson. It's a penalty area headed away. Good defending from Palace, to be fair. Sangare on the edge of the box now. What's he going to do? Kept it in, to be fair to him, but goal kick. It's just not really that quick, is he, Sangare? It's a bit frustrating when he's the kind of last man for the corner, because he's not really dynamic enough and fast enough to run it back into the box and actually create a danger. It's only when there's very, very minimal pressure that he can kind of succeed in those situations. Matata I don't think he's enjoying this battle too much with the Forest defence. He's constantly complaining about being pulled down here. Such a good striker, though. He's still moaning to Anthony Taylor Mateta. Anderson constantly getting himself involved in the build-up at the moment. Sangari definitely much slower. And I did forget the second half timer. I knew I would. Thank you very much. See where we're at. See, I knew I'd forget the second half timer now. I knew I'd forget it. Well, that's what I mean. We'll get there eventually. We will get there eventually. With the timer, you're gonna have to bear with me on that, unfortunately. I will get there, as I say, at some point. We'll get there. We're going to leave the timer off for now. But Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, 1-0 as it stands, 48 minutes gone of the whole game. And Doy on the ball now. And Munoz runs it out for a second corner. Interesting. 2 corners now in quick succession. We do need better set pieces. Obviously, Douglas Luiz, like I mentioned earlier, is someone that will bring that. He'll bring that kind of quality with the distribution on the corners and free kicks and stuff, because obviously Elanga was someone that was starting to show promise with that, especially that Murillo goal. I think it was against Newcastle. Good free kick from Elanga. Just poor from Anderson there. Really poor corners. Wasted 2 really good opportunities. In games like this, I feel like you need to grasp at every small opportunity, especially with corners and free kicks and things like that. I think we really can't be wasting those. Can't be wasting those. It's one of the things that used to gripe me about Forest, especially when we used to have Gibbs White taking the corners and free kicks, because obviously I love Gibbs White and he's a really good player. But the frustration when it came to doing the corners and the free kicks, just so many wasted opportunities. I can't remember what the stat was. Was it something like 27% of goals conceded in the Premier League are set pieces or something like that? I saw in a study somewhere. And you think clubs need to put more, I say clubs, but actually Forest need to put more emphasis into their set pieces. You look at Spurs now with Thomas Frank. He's a set piece innovator. Obviously Brentford, their manager is a former set pieces coach. So it would be really nice if Forest do innovate a little bit more with their set pieces, because I feel like it's an area where you could score yourself an extra 5, 6, 7, maybe even more goals, per season just by improving. I mean, if it is really the 27% that, or whatever the number was on the study, that's a huge amount of goals extra. That's a huge amount of points. Just an extra goal every 3 games or whatever is massive. I still think we need more energy though here. The thing I do like about Sangari is, though, he is very smart on the ball. Will play those line-breaking balls, and occasionally he'll find a long ball, if Forest have kind of overloaded one side and isolated the other. He is good at finding that and picking it out. Issue is, it's just consistency with him. I feel like he'll have a few good games and then he has a stinking couple after that. It's why it's so good to have the kind of the midfield options we do now. It's another corner for Forest now. Wood forcing that header from the Palace defender as well. And credit to Ndoye, to be fair. He's only taken a couple of touches and tried to get 2 crosses in and won 2 corners already, 3 for Forest. I thought it was a corner. Goal kick. Never mind. It's kind of how you break Palace down from here. Free kick to Palace now. 5 of you in at the moment. Let me know what you're thinking of the second half so far. Sorry, my timer's not working at the moment. But 52 minutes into the game, yep. So 7 minutes gone of the second half, and in fairness to Murillo here, I think that Mateta was actually all over Murillo first. I think that's probably a bit of a 50-50. Obviously, Mateta goes down, and it kind of gives Anthony Taylor no choice. But had he have had a longer look at that, Anthony Taylor, especially in the build up to that foul, could have been a different decision. Poor free kick from Will Hughes. Out for a goal kick. Interesting to see where we go from here. Because I'm not feeling that optimistic based on how we're playing at the moment. But I do think that changes will make that difference that we need. I just think Nuno's going to wait till the 60th minute. It's kind of a trademark Nuno thing since he's been at Forest. The 60th and the 65th minute, typically where the subs are made and where they're not. Matt Sells booked for time wasting as well. And he's saying we're 1-0 down. Why would I be time wasting? Good point from Sells, to be fair. Don't want your keeper booked. Frustrating. Just trying to see at the bench, see if anything's going on. Nuno and everyone's still sat in the bench. Jordan, Lad Baby's a Forest fan? I do, yeah. That was a bit random. Yeah, I do, yeah. He's funny. I've actually met Lad Baby before a game once. What game was it? Can't remember what game it was. Met Michael Dawson and then Lad Baby. Before a game last season, I can't remember if we won or not, but yeah, Lad Baby. Get him on the stream. Do what you can, Jordan. Get him on the stream. You too. Oh, did you meet him as well? Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Lad Baby's a nice guy. Some of the best Christmas songs about, right? I've got a feeling that Mark Gay really doesn't like Anthony Taylor. It seems like they're always arguing. But no, Jordan, yeah. Love Lad Baby. Funny guy. Will Hughes, the shot there. High over the crossbar, but bless Will Hughes, man. I bet he wears about a bottle of sun cream, doesn't he? He must put on a bottle of sun cream before he goes out and plays football. He's literally the same colour as this shirt. He's not made for the sun, that boy. That's a great move from Anderson, to be fair. Good defending from Tyreek Mitchell. He's a good defender, isn't he? Tyreek Mitchell, I really do rate Tyreek Mitchell. If there's ever a chance Forest could sign him, he'd be really, really good if you could have him off the bench for Aina or... It's probably the wrong time to be speaking about that, to be fair, when you're 1-0 down to Palace, but still. Let me know what you guys are thinking of the stream. Trying to keep it as busy as we can. Obviously, I know it's difficult when we've not got any guests on. I'm still perfecting the software and learning how to use it and stuff. So this setup will change every week to try and make it the best and the most professional it can possibly be, so I can give you guys the best content you deserve. But if you are watching, I really appreciate you supporting me, obviously, as always. 56 minutes gone nearly. Still 1-0 to Palace. Ismail Assar with the goal, obviously, earlier. Lovely work from Ndoye. I've got to say, I'll be honest, I think Ndoye in this second half, when he's been on the ball, has been better. Just looks like he's a bit more direct now, not really taking as long on the ball, and the weight of his passes and obviously attempting crosses is far better. So good to see from him. Good ball from Wharton. Just overrolls for a goal kick. So we're approaching that magic 60 mark, aren't we, in the game? So it would definitely be good to see some changes at the moment. Let me know what you're thinking in terms of changes. Are you in favour of bringing someone like Yates in? Are you thinking, what is your kind of thoughts at the moment? Sorry about that. Brief dropout. Hudson-Odoi in on goal. Love it. Get in there. 1-1. Let's go. Come on. Just as my internet went as well. Love that. Get in there. I can use this now. Come on. Come on. Love that. Watch that one again. My Wi-Fi dropped out at literally the worst time. Love that. I'm going to look at this again. Lovely long ball. And Ndoye brings it off his chest. Looked it. Onside as well. That ball from Ndoye. Exquisite. That is perfect. I've got to say, that is one of the best. That's a fantastic assist. Finished it off well. The two players that I was saying we needed a bit more energy from. That's brilliant. Henderson probably could have done better at the near post, to be fair, to save that. But not going to complain. Get in. 1-1. Come on. It's actually nice to commentate on a Forest game or talk about a Forest game and be able to celebrate. I'm never allowed to do that. I'm also having to be quiet because it's midnight in my house and everyone's asleep. So I'm trying not to scream and shout. Love that. Absolutely love that. That is a brilliant, brilliant assist. That is wonderful. Palace in now, though, to be fair. And Devaney. Oof. Saved by Sels. Forest, you've just got to make me nervous just as we score, haven't you? You've got to keep me on my toes at all time. I've got to say that's where this game is going to be won, that kind of innovative approach that Forest have took there where it's just come out of nowhere. And someone like Ndoye, who's so intelligent, even if he is having a bit of a bad game because he's not having that athletic impact, because he's so intelligent, just one ball that he sees and plays can lead to something like that. I mean, that pass from Ndoye, that's wonderful. I mean, obviously the Elliot Anderson one last week, very similar, albeit from a sort of horizontal point of view. Now. So, yeah, brilliant work. Let me know what you guys are thinking now. Something a little bit different. It's just nice to see Ndoye getting himself involved a bit. It does appear to me like at least that half-time team talk, he was maybe told to be a little bit more direct, and not try too hard, because it's the last thing you need to do with players like that. If they make their decision early enough, they're intelligent enough to produce something as special as that. What a brilliant, brilliant assist. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. That was beautiful. That's one we're not going to forget for a while, isn't it? I'll be bringing it up in the next few streams going, do you remember that wonderful pass from Ndoye? On the ball again now on the left-hand side. So he switched over, was on the right-hand side last game. So that's interesting. Maybe thinking that he's more suited to the kind of the cut-ins, and because of his ambidextrous left foot, right foot ability, he can cut in and he can cross. And then maybe the thinking with Hudson-Odoi is that he's going to run inside and maybe have a pop near post like he did. Either that or he's going to cross a bit more. So maybe looking to try and use Wood's aerial ability at some point. If not, he's shooting in the 6-yard box with a low cross or something like that. Definitely feeling more assured now. I think everyone's kind of tightened up a little bit more of a focus. Good ball from Williams. That's a wonderful assist from Ndoye. Wood shooting on goal against Henderson. I don't know if they're going to call that. I think they might call that offside here. Yeah, Wood offside there, but that was brilliant. It was actually Gibbs White that played him off as well, not Ndoye. It's offside, but that's a brilliant bit of work there. This is better. This is what I like to see, and it's Williams there that's just created something out of nothing. Just came out of nowhere. I feel like that direct approach where, you're trying to walk it into the goal every time. We just don't need to take it. It's just those creative, just kind of go for it balls that are really working at the moment. 6 of you watching now. Thank you very much for joining in. Appreciate it. If you are enjoying the stream, drop us a comment and let me know what you're thinking of the game so far. Trying to get as many of you involved as we can. Even the Newcastle fan. There's a Newcastle fan in the chat here. Geordie. Another free kick. Can we get something from a free kick? It's one thing I really want because of all the criticism that I've given these boys for today's set pieces. It'd be so nice for them to prove me wrong. I really want that. Interesting one. Not really. Not going to speak too soon because I've got a feeling now. Great skills from Ndoye. Hudson-Odoi into the penalty area, headed away, and free kick. And now I can see what Forest are trying to do here. Hudson-Odoi and Ndoye on the same wing, and it's that kind of floating man with the winger. Nuno loves a floating winger who kind of plays across the front line, and I think that's kind of what he's given Hudson-Odoi the chance to do now, as long as Aina's a little bit less advanced and sitting a bit deeper. Williams just shoved in the back by Munoz, still on the floor now. Looks like he's holding his groin or something there. Yeah, he's holding the inside of his leg. So hopefully nothing serious for Williams because he's had a good game today. Does look to be in quite a bit of discomfort though, to be fair to him. 63.5 minutes gone. Nearly 20 minutes down of the first half as well. Looks like Crystal Palace are preparing to bring on one of their players now. And I'm hoping that Forest are going to do the same. I mean, I'm not... Maybe, I don't think necessarily about Ndoye now. I think that's fine. But I still think it'd be nice to see someone like Hutchinson or Douglas Luiz get some minutes, or McAtee even. Get some minutes in a game like this. But obviously Nuno's not going to want to change things around too much when we've just scored. Maybe give it to the 70th minute, you would have thought. I've got to say that away kit's beautiful though, isn't it? I'm just seeing Murillo there with that away kit. That is a great kit. And again, guys, get involved. Let me hear your thoughts on the game at the moment. Steve Parish on the TV, and it's going to be Romain Esse that's coming on for Palace, coming on for Justin Devaney. So not a bad first 30 minutes actually, or first half wasn't actually too bad from Devaney. I didn't think. I thought he got himself into the right places and got himself involved and near enough. Could probably just do with someone a little bit more pace, a little bit more to offer than Devaney. Someone, again, just energy. That's just what I think both teams are lacking at the moment. So I think that definitely the changes are needed for both teams, really. Interesting to see when Forest, or if they do go for changes, Forest get the drop ball. And obviously for Palace, they'll be looking to kind of bring through, the next generation of talents for them. Of course, obviously losing Eze and Elise. Elise is going to go on and be one of the best wingers in the world. I think he's a fantastic talent. The money that Bayern paid for him he's such a bargain. He's such a bargain. I really do think that he's going to be one of the best. He's probably one of the best now. Trying to keep my eyes open a little bit. midnight, if you didn't know where we are at the moment. So I'm glad I had that coffee at McDonald's just before the stream came on. That's a dangerous header from Murillo. Cleared by Aina. Out of danger. Danger. And obviously for Palace, they'll be looking to kind of bring through, the next generation of talents for them. Probably should have been a foul on Munoz, to be fair. But Gibbs White just pulled him back. Interesting. I wonder if there's another goal in this. 1-1, 67 minutes into the game. It's Forest, defending their blocks here, and again, please do get involved. Looking for your comments on how you think the first half went, and obviously what you think the differences are in this second half. Because at the moment, I can probably say difference in the second half is absolutely how the team's approached breaking into the final third. Obviously Palace, Forest looking for those kind of runs in behind a little bit, and maybe in a way a speculative ball over the top to find someone. Hudson had always got something in his eye there. Long throw from Chris Richards coming in for Palace now. It's a massive throw. Aina's header always went back to Matt Sells there. It's still up in the air. And after that penalty last week, it's just getting me nervous seeing the ball in the box. Anthony Taylor, why has he let the play go on there? There was a clear foul. Clear foul in the build up to that. And a foul on Aina there. Thank you. I'll let you guess who was the first to moan at Anthony Taylor. It's not like he's been doing it all game. Mark Gahey. Maybe it was a bit soft actually looking back at that, but definitely a free kick in the build to the previous attack from Palace. 69 minutes gone. Palace 1, Forest 1. Goals from Ismail Assar and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Good to see Hudson-Odoi obviously getting his first goal of the season as well. Good way to start off. And I think he'll be hoping to put a bigger stamp on this team as well this year. Looks like Arnaud Calamuendo is going to be coming on for his Forest debut. That's exciting. Maybe coming on the wing, you would have thought, unless they're thinking about changing up Chris Wood. That would be an interesting choice. So I don't know which wing I'd rather him come on. I think probably Ndoi's wing, maybe. But then again, I feel like, I'm going to say it now, and Hudson-Odoi's on the ball. He's probably going to do something. Into the box. Ndoi tries to get the header. I thought it was... If Forest had scored there, that would be the most typical thing of me ever to say, let's replace Hudson-Odoi. Good tackle from Sangare there, to be fair. Yeah, I think Callum Wendo. It's going to be interesting to see where he plays. Obviously, this is his debut, so it's interesting to see what kind of impact he's going to have. Brilliant. Brilliant challenge from Munoz on Ndoi there. Goal kick to Palace. Just watching it back now. Just reads the play so well. It's a great call as well from the ref to put it out for a goal kick. James McAtee coming on. So James McAtee and Arnaud Calamuendo. I do wonder whether maybe they'll take both wingers off then, Ndoi and Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, Hudson-Odoi coming off for James McAtee. And Ndoi coming off for Calamuendo. So both wingers changed. I think that's the right call to make, to be honest. I think that a goal and an assist between Hudson-Odoi and Ndoi. It's a pretty decent return for what I would say has been a largely quiet game for the pair of them. Good to see McAtee coming on as well. Just a bit of that energy, I think, towards the last 20 minutes of a game as well is so important. You know, obviously Callum Mwendo will be hungry, and obviously McAtee as well, because it's their debut. They'll be both hungry to start off with something special, won't they? I'm interested to see how they play. Straight away involved, McAtee wins the header. Straight away. I think Aina's been a little bit shaky today as well. I'm interested to know what you guys think about Aina. I think he's been a little bit shaky all day, really. Not quite as sharp on the aerials as he usually is. Um, Not maybe tracking his man quite as tightly as normal either. How often do you say Aina has a bad game, though, to be fair? Ball through the midfield, now into Sangare. And Forest on the attack here. McAtee. That's a great ball. Into Anderson. Callum Wendo's waiting for it at the back post as well. Earlier ball we could have had from there. Needed the earlier ball. That's what you want to see. Technical player like James McAtee. That's the kind of player this team needs. Coming on later into the game as well. No, there's going to be people saying whatever they want about the price tag for him and Hutchinson, but two young English players counting towards the homegrown thing as well, which is really important. Of course, English players always cost more anyway. It's just good to see him, joining up with what is hopefully going to be the sort of talent factory for English football coming up. With Anderson and Gibbs White, Hutchinson, kind of list goes on. Um, just over 15 minutes to go now. Gibbs White just took out Essa there. Essie, sorry. Definitely a different way of playing from Forest, I would say. Even though that, of course, it is transitionally based. The height of the centre backs, especially in this game, Forest are looking actually to, if a team is playing a low block, actually Forest, they do want to try and break them down a bit better. Higher centre backs, your more technical players like your McAtees, Callum Wendo's, kind of running in the midfield alongside Gibbs White and Anderson and Sangare. So it's a very busy midfield. And then your fullbacks kind of holding that width a little bit. I'm really kind of liking the approach, definitely. And I think that's why it's good to have players like McAtee on the wing, because as much as he is a winger, he does tend to invert anyway, and present that kind of danger in a central zone. Anderson coming off just for a moment whilst they wait for the medical team to treat him, but it's a free kick for Crystal Palace in a pretty good position as well. Got a lot of men in the box. Wharton to the back post. One of the Palace men went down. It's Essa that went down. No head injury, so you've got to get on with it. It's Chris Richards that went down. I think he's just hurt his shoulder there. I'm going to watch this back now. No, he's run into the back of the Forest player there. Yeah, he's just run into the back there. No penalty there. I mean, I'm going to say that, but it is Anthony Taylor, so you never know, do you? Really want to see Callum Wendo get on the ball. I'm so excited. These are two transfers, McAtee and Callum Wendo, I was really looking forward to. Really want to see them both getting involved in this game. It's a good ball from Munoz. Sarr into the box. Callum Wendo. First touch, lovely clearance out of the box. Good stuff, doesn't play around on the edge of the box like we did for the first goal. 76 minutes gone, 1-1 Palace and Forest. Let me know what you're thinking of the stream and indeed the game as well. Just mentioning it on the TV. Great win for Palace, isn't it? In the FA Cup. Sarr into the box. Oh, that's dangerous into the back post. Mateta as well there. You do not want to be giving him that kind of leeway to run into headers like that. That's dangerous. Good ball from Gahey, to be fair. Good from Aina. Wins the goal kick for Forest. I can see it just being a 1-1. I can see it being a 1-1 here. Just doesn't look like there's a hell of a lot more in this game. Who's the bloke with the megaphone? Why is there a guy with a megaphone in the... What's that all about? Is this really what football's come to now? People with megaphones in the stands? What a plonker. Sorry, I've got to be honest with you. I don't... Come on, man. It's like drums. Why are you bringing drums to games? Put them down. Anyone remember that Blackburn in the Cup game? Ewood Park. Guy with the drum was a right nightmare. Good free kick call from Anthony Taylor there as well. Studs into McAtee's ankle there from Will Hughes. Looking back at it. He's only just caught him though, to be fair. I think he had more on the ball there. I don't like to say that, but I feel like that might have been a soft free kick from Taylor. I think Taylor's had a pretty good grasp on the game, actually, to be fair. It's not that there's been anything controversial, really, for him to have to do, unlike last week with that penalty. But free kick here. Murillo's taking it. Please do not shoot. Please do not shoot. Decent free kick. It's Milenkovic on the edge of the box. Kept in Williams. Quick feet. Keeping it. Just need to whip it in now. McAtee. Oh, it's a poor cross, that. That's a poor cross from McAtee. Out for a goal kick. Good from Williams, though, to be fair. Kept it. Quick feet to get around the Crystal Palace block. Just defending really compact in front of goal. Callum Wendo forcing the throw-in as well on the on this near side on the telly. Oh, that's great from Romain Esse there for Palace. That's great feet. I just don't like how commentators are straight away jumping on the whole. I don't want to talk too much about Palace because this is a Forest stream, but I don't like how they're straight away comparing this young lad to Eze. It's like he's his own player. He doesn't need to be this kind of in this shadow of Eze before he's even started. You know, you need to put too much pressure on young footballers in the media. You know, Max Dowman, he's 15 and, you know, there's these big media channels that are just going crazy over him. I mean, he's 15. Good, very good player. Probably the best young player in the country at that age. If not in the world, one of the best in the world. But it's like constant media just straight away jumping on players. It kills them. Don't want to rant too much, by the way. Sorry, I don't want to rant too much, but just saying. 80 minutes gone. Thinking of other subs. What are you thinking, guys? Let me know what you're thinking for potential other subs here. I'm not really sure what more Forest could change, to be honest with you. Don't really think that bringing Douglas Luiz up makes a hell of a big difference in this game. I mean, they're going to bring on Hutchinson. Bringing him on for Morgan Gibbs-White as well. So good that Forest have, I think, now got someone who naturally, I mean, he's not, I don't think he's like for like. Gibbs-White is obviously a par above, but it's good to see Forest having someone that can come off the bench and support when Gibbs-White, you know, is getting to the later stages of the game and maybe they want to just give him a bit of a rest. Because again, it's the new energy that you need injected into the team, and you know, if Gibbs-White's ideas aren't working quite as well, you've got someone like Hutchinson ready to just jump in. And Palace have brought Wharton off as well. That's good for us. Jefferson Lerma coming on. Still 1-1 is the score at the moment. 81.5 minutes gone. Anderson. Now to Williams crossed the edge of the box. Come on, Forest. There's got to be something left in us still here. Still think the game's going to finish 1-1, but you just love a late goal, wouldn't you? But yeah, Forest, as I was saying earlier, kind of alluding to the changing kind of how we're playing. Just in possession looking a lot better, and they look like they want to get forward more and sustain the attack, even if you lose the ball. It's kind of that recovering possession and using it. Anderson into the box. Oh, diving header. Taylor's called for medical, and it looks like Nico Williams has gone down here. Holding his head. Or is it McAtee that's gone down? No, it's Nico Williams, definitely. He doesn't have any luck with head injuries, does he, Nico? It's always Nico Williams that's getting knocked out or a broken jaw or something like that. He throws himself into everything. Have a look again at this this challenge from Will Hughes, if we can get a replay, which would be nice. Nico Williams still down, 83 minutes gone. Let me know what you guys are thinking of the last 10 minutes. Is there anything that really you would say you'd change? I think that there's not really a hell of a lot more Forest can do now, but Hutchinson, definitely, I think, a good call to bring him on. Again, it's just that energy and the youth and that kind of creative spark that Gibbs White offers, just with the fact that he hasn't got 80 minutes in his legs. So Will Hughes and I think Nico Williams are going to take a second off the pitch. Got a feel for Williams. He's always getting bashed about. It's always him that's getting the big knocks when it comes to these games. Well, we'll see when they both come back on, but it looks like him and Will Hughes seem to be all right at the moment. Just thinking of how Forest are going to break Palace down now, because I can imagine Palace will be wanting to protect this. I mean, I'm not saying that necessarily they're not going to go for it. The wing-backs are as high as they can possibly be, really, at the moment, but just want to know what Forest are thinking in terms of their penetration plans, because, again, McAtee, Hutchinson, the rest, they're all so fluid across the back line. Not really a great couple passes to introduce himself from Hutchinson, to be fair, but definitely got the idea. Williams booed as he gets on the ball. It's Callum Wendo now. Cross to the edge of the box. It's like he may have taken a bit of a knock there, Sangare, to be fair. Yeah, not a great move from Hutchinson there. Not particularly the strongest 1v1 I've seen. Maybe a bit nervous. I don't know. Couple of passes and losing the ball there. Just 4.5 minutes gone. Ryan Yates looks like he's going to come on as well. Interesting. I think Ryan Yates is someone definitely good to bring on later into the game, isn't he? Brings you that stability, and obviously when you're entering the last, you'd assume there's 4 minutes or something added on. You need someone like him just to maintain the flow of the game and kind of keep it at the level that Forest want it to be at for now. Not that I'm saying that they play for a draw, but it would suggest that when you bring on someone like Yates that you are playing a bit more defensively from there on. If you are just joining in, thank you very much for coming along. It's different to what I usually do in terms of streaming and videos and stuff. It's 1:45 in the morning out here in Byron Bay, Australia. I can't quite believe I'm saying that really sometimes. But we are so far away from everything. I should be there. Should be at Selhurst Park today. What looks like a really nice day as well. Good ball from Aina up here. Callum Wendo took out by Will Hughes completely. Free kick given. Yellow card for Hughes. About time. One of these days we're going to see Will Hughes get sent off. I will be there for that. I will be there for it. One day. One day we will be there to see Will Hughes get sent off against Nottingham Forest. Has to happen. Heritage football if it does. Igor Jesus to come on as well, so I'm assuming that's Chris Wood and Sangare coming off. That's all the changes being made then. Still Nuno banking on something maybe late on. Again, it's that energy and a different style with Yates compared to Sangare, and obviously with Jesus compared to Wood as well. And obviously, I know it's only a few minutes saved for Wood in terms of his, time on the pitch. He's already played 87 minutes, but it's still some form of time management, right? It's got to be careful. Palace taking off Mateta and bringing on Eduardo as well. Interesting changes for both teams. Changing the forward men as well, hoping to get a last-ditch goal or something from this game at least. And again, it's all about fresh legs, isn't it? Good from Aina. Good ball through to Hutchinson. I'm liking that central kind of... I just like how McAtee's very versatile across the front three, getting himself involved all across. Just jumping onto the left wing there before the free kick was given away, but it's really interesting kind of what the kind of profile that he is and what he offers to Forest is very different to someone like Hudson-Odoi or Undoy. Williams taking down on Munoz. Got to be a card there, surely. Surely got to be a card there. So for the next stream we do, we are going to have guests on and things like that, so just bear with me. We'll have kind of regular kind of people on as well, just so that throughout the game we can always have someone to kind of come back to and stuff like that. But hoping you're enjoying it. I'm trying to kind of keep it as engaging as possible. It's not been the most exciting game to start watch-alongs on, but every game you get to watch Forest is a good one, right? Surely something for the end of this game. We've got so many men forward here, Forest. So many men forward. And yeah, Rad Dad, absolutely. Bring on West Ham. I will be doing a stream for that as well. I need to check the timings for that game. Because I'm not sure what time. 11 p.m, so same time as this one. And then Arsenal 9:30 p.m. Getting lucky with these times at the moment. A lot of earlier kickoffs. It's probably the best we're going to get in this country, to be fair. You get the odd 7 a.m. kickoff, but you don't get any 3 p.m.s or middays or anything like that. It's horrendous times usually. Jesus getting himself involved immediately here. Love to see Ryan Yates still playing for Forest in this season. It's so great. Just keeps improving and getting himself involved. Love it. Hutchinson on the right wing. Come on, Forest. Still something left here. Still something left here. I'm getting too excited. I get so nervy in this last 10 minutes, especially when it's a 1-1. Poor challenge from Murillo, that. Poor challenge. Didn't need to make that challenge either, Murillo. He timed it so wrong. Should have jumped in immediately, but instead he went and left it a second or two later. Not like him. Studs up as well. Got to be so careful with those challenges. Last thing you need when you've got 5 minutes added on is a red card. So 2 hours, well, nearly 3 hours into the stream. Thank you all for joining. There's been 153 of you across the stream today so far. If you are watching it back today or tomorrow, whenever it may be, 25th of August at the moment, because it's 1 in the morning me for my time. Whenever you're watching it, obviously do drop us a subscribe. We're trying to get to 2K by the end of the year. And if we can get there earlier, then that would be even better. That's a great ball from Murillo. Igor Jesus in on goal here. And he's just put it off the post. Oh my goodness. Forest nearly went and scored the winner there. Hutchinson across goal. And he's skied it. Oh my goodness. Forest. What are you doing to me? Oh, that ball from Murillo was perfect. And to be fair, Gerhi there. I think it was Gerhi there. Yeah, he had that locked in. And to be fair to Igor Jesus, to even get a sniff at goal from that angle was tough. Oh, just off the frame of the bar. That's painful to watch again. Oh. Got to say, the follow-up from Hutchinson was bloody awful. But that was... Oh. Not going to be able to sleep tonight with stuff like that. Oh, that's going to sting. That is going to sting, isn't it? Not quite Zinkernagel v Liverpool levels of should have scored. Oh, gosh. Crystal Palace player's gone down in the box. Anthony Taylor's going to call for VAR. Do not do this to us, Forest. So I think that the flag's up for offside at the moment, which would be the ideal call, wouldn't it? He's offside. He's offside all day there. And it's never, ever a penalty. That's a stain on the game, by the way. Sarr, get out. Get out. That's ridiculous. Did you see the jump? How are they looking at this as a penalty and not an offside? That's a clear offside all day. Seriously. His right shoulder's offside. He's offside. His right foot's offside. There is absolutely no way that there is no way that in a just world that this is called not offside. Thank God. That's a joke. I mean, the jump from Sarr as well, that's pathetic. Sorry, I'm trying not to get too ranty here, but that is a joke. Still 1-1. I can't cope with these extra minutes and all that. I can't do it. I can't. Too many years commentating on Forest and being nervous, and now I've got to watch it as a fan and I can speak like a fan. Jesus in on goal. As Hutchinson in on goal even. Oh my. Do not do this to me, Forest. Oh my God. Oh. That's another close chance. Oh my word. I don't think that's a penalty. I don't know what Hutchinson's calling for. Obviously, he's going to call for something, isn't he? Because it's the last bits of the game. But oh, the standard of the... Oh, there we go. 1-1. El-CASico. Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace stalemate at Selhurst Park. Oh, it stings because of those last chances. Well, I've got to say I'm going to give you my final roundup. I think that the first half was really flat and it needed energy. It just needed something to put some, again, energy and power into the game. And it just needed something different, right? But in general, yeah, I would say a better second half performance from Forest. A bit unlucky at the end there with a couple of the shots, but probably the right result, I would say, is 1-1. I wouldn't say necessarily the best quality game that we've seen, but it's the game we got. So 1-1, Forest against Crystal Palace. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you for the next one. Next week, it's going to be 1:30, same time, UK time, for the stream to start. And then, of course, we'll finish around 1 a.m. like today, Australia time. But obviously, in the UK, probably about 5 o'clock. So, catch you later. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you very soon. See you Sunday. Bye.